The rugby transfer market is heating up once again, with two of South Africa's most experienced and decorated international players potentially on the move as the current season approaches its conclusion. Klerk and Kriel, both senior Springboks who have played pivotal roles in their country's recent successes, are being linked with returns to European rugby after their respective stints in Japan's Rugby League One. The prospect of these two established stars heading back to the Northern Hemisphere has generated considerable interest across the rugby world, with multiple clubs reportedly positioning themselves to secure their signatures. Klerk's name has become synonymous with world-class scrum half play over the past several years. The diminutive number 9 has been a cornerstone of South Africa's success, playing a crucial role in their 2019 Rugby World Cup triumph in Japan, and continuing to contribute to the Springboks' dominance of world rugby in subsequent years. His aggressive defensive style, sharp tactical kicking, and ability to control the tempo of matches have made him one of the most respected players in his position globally. Now, as he contemplates the next chapter of his career, it appears that a return to familiar territory in England could be on the cards. According to recent reports emerging from reliable sources within the rugby transfer market, Klerk is attracting serious interest from his former club Sale Sharks, the Manchester-based outfit where he previously established himself as one of the English Premiership's standout performers. During his earlier spell at Sale, Klerk became a fan favorite at the club, his passionate approach to the game and his never-say-die attitude resonating deeply with supporters. His performances in the famous red, white, and blue jersey were consistently excellent, and he played a significant part in Sale's resurgence as a competitive force in English rugby during his time there. However, Sale Sharks are not the only English club circling with interest in the experienced scrum half. Newcastle Falcons, now operating under the significant financial backing of Red Bull, have emerged as serious contenders to secure Klerk's services. The Falcons' recent takeover by the energy drinks giant has transformed the club's position in the transfer market, providing them with resources that few English clubs can match. Newcastle have already demonstrated their ambition and their willingness to invest heavily in top-tier talent by confirming the high-profile signing of All Blacks loose forward Hoskins Sotutu for next season. The capture of Sotutu, an established international forward with significant experience at the highest level, sent a clear message about Newcastle's intentions to compete at the upper end of the English Premiership table. The potential acquisition of Klerk would represent another statement signing for the Falcons, adding world-class quality and invaluable experience to their halfback options. For Klerk himself, a move to Newcastle could offer an intriguing fresh challenge, the opportunity to be part of an ambitious project with significant backing and long-term vision. The Red Bull brand brings not just financial muscle, but also a proven track record of building successful sporting operations across multiple disciplines, from Formula One to football and beyond. Their entry into rugby union through Newcastle Falcons has been met with both excitement and curiosity throughout the sport, and signing players of Klerk's caliber would certainly accelerate their plans to establish the club as a major power in English and European rugby. For Klerk, a return to the English Premiership carries significance beyond simply finding his next club. At 34 years of age, the scrum half finds himself at something of a crossroads in his international career. He made only 2 appearances for the Springboks during the past year, a marked reduction from his previously regular involvement in the national team setup. Under head coach Rassie Erasmus, competition for places has intensified across all positions, and the scrum half berth is no exception. Younger players have emerged and staked their claims, and while Erasmus has publicly stated that Klerk remains very much part of the wider Springbok plans, the reality is that selection has become increasingly challenging for the veteran playmaker. A move back to the English Premiership could potentially serve as a catalyst for reviving Klerk's international prospects. The competition and intensity of Premiership rugby, combined with the higher profile that comes with playing in one of Europe's elite leagues, would keep him firmly in the spotlight and on the radar of the Springbok coaching staff. Geography also plays a factor here. Players based in Europe generally find it easier to remain connected with the national team setup compared to those competing in Japan or other more distant leagues. The time zone differences and travel considerations are less prohibitive, making it more practical for coaching staff to monitor form closely and for players to be integrated into training camps and squad preparations. Complicating de Klerk's immediate situation is a recent injury that is expected to keep him sidelined for much of the current Japanese season. Injuries are an unfortunate reality of professional rugby, but their timing can prove particularly significant when contract negotiations and transfer discussions are taking place. The fact that multiple clubs remain interested despite this injury concern speaks volumes about de Klerk's reputation and the quality that he brings to any squad. Clubs are clearly willing to take a longer-term view, recognizing that when fully fit, de Klerk remains a world-class operator capable of elevating the performance level of those around him. While de Klerk's potential move has generated significant discussion, he is not the only established Springbok considering a return to European rugby. Kriel, the versatile back, who has accumulated substantial international experience over the course of his career, is also reportedly weighing up his options as the transfer window approaches. According to reports from well-connected sources, several clubs across both the English Premiership and the French Top 14 are monitoring Kriel's situation closely, and the interest in his services could potentially develop into a competitive bidding war. Kriel brings a different but equally valuable set of attributes to the table. The experienced center has been a consistent presence in the Springbok setup for several years, his dependability and versatility making him a valuable squad member. While perhaps not always grabbing headlines in the way that some of his more flamboyant teammates do, Kriel has built his reputation on solid fundamentals, defensive reliability, and an ability to execute the game plan with precision. In modern rugby, where tactical discipline and defensive organization are paramount, players like Kriel, who can be trusted to do their job week in and week out, are worth their weight in gold. What makes Kriel particularly attractive to potential suitors is his versatility across the backline. While his primary position is at center, he has also operated effectively on the wing at international level, and his rugby intelligence allows him to adapt to different tactical systems and coaching philosophies. For clubs operating in demanding leagues like the English Premiership or French Top 14, this kind of versatility is incredibly valuable. Squads are tested by injuries, fixture congestion, and the physical demands of modern rugby, and having players who can cover multiple positions without any significant drop-off in performance level provides coaches with crucial flexibility in selection and game management. The reported interest from French clubs adds an interesting dimension to Kriel's situation. The Top 14 remains one of the most lucrative competitions in world rugby, with several clubs backed by wealthy owners willing to invest heavily in attracting top talent. French rugby has long had a tradition of recruiting established international players, particularly from the Southern Hemisphere, and the competition's intense physicality and tactical sophistication make it an attractive destination for players seeking a fresh challenge. The lifestyle benefits of living in France, combined with competitive salaries, make the Top 14 an appealing option for many players at this stage of their careers. However, English Premiership clubs also have plenty to offer. The competition remains one of the most prestigious in world rugby, and the standard of play continues to rise. Recent years have seen significant investment across several clubs, and the league's profile ensures that performances are scrutinized closely by international coaches and selectors. For a player like Kriel, who presumably still harbors ambitions of adding to his Springbok cap tally, the visibility that comes with playing in the Premiership could prove attractive. The broader context surrounding these potential moves is worth considering. Both de Klerk and Kriel are at stages in their careers where the decisions they make over the next few months could define their remaining years as professional players. At 34, de Klerk knows that the window for competing at the highest level will not remain open indefinitely. Every season becomes increasingly precious, and the choices about where to play and under what circumstances become more significant. The 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia represents a potential final opportunity to compete on rugby's biggest stage, and any decision about his club future will undoubtedly be made with at least one eye on that ultimate goal. Kriel, while slightly younger, faces similar considerations. His experience and reliability make him valuable to any squad, but maintaining form and fitness while keeping international aspirations alive requires careful management of his career. The move back to Europe would represent a return to a more familiar environment, one where the rugby culture and competitive standards align more closely with what is required for international success. The timing of these potential transfers is also significant.
The global rugby calendar has become increasingly crowded, with domestic competitions, international windows, and various cup tournaments all demanding attention. Players must balance club commitments with national team duties, and the location of their club can impact how easily they can fulfill both sets of obligations. For South African players, being based in Europe generally makes international commitments more manageable than being based in Japan, despite the financial attractions that Japanese rugby can offer. From the perspective of the clubs involved, securing players of Klerk and Kriel's caliber represents an opportunity to add proven international quality to their squads. In an era where success in European club competitions requires depth and experience, having world-class operators who have competed at the highest level and won major honors brings tangible benefits. Their leadership, their understanding of what it takes to win big matches, and their ability to perform under pressure are qualities that cannot simply be